All right. Thank you all so much for joining us today. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend with us. Today's topic is on retargeting. So if you're paying for clicks but not getting calls, you don't have a traffic problem, you have a follow-up problem. And if you don't know us yet, we're Rook Digital. We help local service businesses turn clicks into calls and book jobs by fixing what happens after someone lands on your site. So a few quick housekeeping things before we jump in. Our web class is going to run about an hour and we do Q&A at the end, or you can drop your questions in the chat anytime. Kevin is our moderator. Feel free to tag him directly with any questions. After the webinar is over, we're going to send you a free workbook so you can implement everything that we cover in this class right away. And we also offer a free no BS one-to-one website audit if you want help applying any of this or other digital marketing things to your business. So today is all about what happens after the click because that's where most businesses lose the deal. And with that, I'll turn it over to Phil Hudson, co-founder and CEO of Rook Digital, to show you how to stop disappearing after the click.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Megan. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Also, we have Kevin Lewandowski here who's going to help answer questions. Kevin, you want to do a quick intro?
Yeah, hey everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're excited to talk about retargeting and how it can help you all. As Megan said, any questions you have on any of our platforms, feel free to just tag me and I'll keep track of them. And if it's pertinent to what Phil's talking about in the moment, I'll bring it up right away. But if it's something more towards the end, we'll save it until then.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. We got lots to cover today. We want to leave time for questions as they come up. So I am going to share my iPad. We like to whiteboard here. If you're here, you might have seen those whiteboard videos all over the internet, and that is because I'm a visual learner and I get lost if I don't draw things out. So you get to participate with me this way. Now this should load in here in just a second. I know it takes a minute the first go around. There we go. You guys see that okay?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So today we're talking about retargeting, remarketing. There are a couple terms. In some of my ads, you might have seen me write remarketing versus retargeting. Let's just define this real fast. They are the exact same thing. I think Google picked remarketing and everybody else went with retargeting. So most people say retargeting, but when I learned this, it was remarketing. And so I say remarketing. It's the same thing. What is it? It's how you follow people around the web with or without their permission to continue to promote your services to them and stay top of mind. And this is where most businesses fail to succeed, is that they don't integrate this properly, they don't set it up properly, and therefore they end up just burning cash, not converting people who are probably the most likely candidates to convert to becoming traffic. So what we're going to do today, we're going to make it very clear. We're going to make retargeting feel like a simple follow-up system. We're going to do it with engaging drawings like funnels and sticks like that. That's the goal, okay? Stick figures, magnets, blah, blah, blah. Like if you've been here before, you've seen it. If not, welcome to the whiteboard sessions. Our consulting clients really like this. I've been doing this for forever, making myself look dumb in Microsoft Paint back in the day. And now we have whiteboards through iPad apps and things like that, which is what we're going to do. So let's dive in. At Rook, we like to talk about marketing in terms of funnels. If you're in the marketing world, you probably understand this very clearly. If you don't, it's really simple. We're always trying to get something in the top and something out of the bottom. And as you move down the funnel, you're going to see attrition. You're going to start seeing people fall out of the funnel. That's totally normal. It's to be expected and it's intentional. We want to remove people who don't belong at certain steps. The problem we find is that most people unknowingly have a leak of some kind where their leads come in the top, they travel down the funnel, and then they get stuck and they get lost. Okay. Now, the goal for most of our funnels involves revenue at the bottom because we're in business. We're trying to get leads. We're trying to get sales on an e-commerce website. We're trying to get people to sign up for coaching programs, whatever it is. Revenue at the bottom is what we're here for. And the problem is there's a leak somewhere that is causing you to bleed cash. And that is typically in the world of remarketing and advertising. It's how we reach people. Okay. So again, clicks get people into our funnel. At the bottom, we get booked jobs or sales, whatever it is. and somewhere in there we lose people, okay? This right here is invisible after they click. And we ought to define that. What is it? Because ultimately, you have customers who are coming in and they're saying, I don't know. And then they leave. We need to identify why, and we need to also figure out what we can do to help them. So, very simply, if you're not retargeting, you're paying to meet people and then you're disappearing or they're disappearing. If you're not retargeting, you're paying to meet people and then they're disappearing. Keep that in mind as we go through this, okay? So let's talk about something we call the 7-second buyer. And you might say 7 seconds. Well, 7 seconds is a pretty long amount of time. If I were to sit here silently for 7 seconds, it might feel like an eternity. It's uncomfortable for most of us, right? That's forever in a digital world. Okay. And if you don't do something to grab their attention, they are going to bounce. They're going to bleed out. They're going to leave somewhere. So we have to do something to get them to decide. Most people don't decide on the first visit. They decide after they see you a few times. There was a statistic during COVID that in order for you to stand out as a brand, you had to be top of mind 17 times. That number, as far as I understand, is somewhere in the realm of 20 plus times now. You have to show up. You have to be top of mind. Your brand means nothing until it means something. And until then, it is just noise amidst all of the minutia that exists out there. So we have to stand out. And customers are really, they're going to take a couple paths. So you've got path A, right? And this is what most businesses do. These are your two paths of business. Number one, you run an ad, then you're going to see a click. That customer is going to leave, and then they're gone. And that's what most people do. And if you're here or you sign up for this, it's most likely because you're experiencing this in your business. So let's talk about path B. Path B is an ad, it's a click, it's a leave, and then businesses who do retargeting get people to come back, and that's how you get a call or a buy. Okay. So the real standout for this whole process is retargeting. It's staying top of mind. Basically, what it does is someone leaves, and if this is your website over here, I keep messing that up. We'll get it figured out. This is your website, and traffic comes in. They scroll down the page, they leave, they go somewhere else like Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or Pinterest or Reddit or a blog of some kind or a news site or whatever else. You can follow them. If they go here, 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 you can show an ad for your site, top of mind, and interject in the middle of their day, reminding them why they came to your website. That's what retargeting it is. Retargeting isn't ads, it's follow up. Okay. Not ads. Follow up. If you're in business, you're in sales, and you know if you don't follow up, that deal's going to die. That's just how it works. People get busy, they forget. Okay. Someone's browsing your website on their phone at work. They leave to go pick up their kids from soccer practice. They get home, they eat dinner, they get in bed, they're tired, they go to sleep, they wake up, they do it again, they forgot you existed. But what happens if you basically someone comes to your website, they leave, and then they go to Instagram later at night when they're decompressing, and then they see your ad again. Oh, yeah, that's right. And then you can bring them right back to your website. So that's the intention there. Okay. So again, 7 seconds to grab attention. And then from there, you have two paths. You can choose to be most people, or you can choose to be a winner. And winners do retargeting. All right. Any questions about that from anybody, Kevin?
Nothing yet.
Okay, not a big deal at all. Okay, so let's talk again. We're going to talk about something called, oh, go back to black. We've got something we're going to use called the warmth funnel. What is the warmth funnel? Again, we love our funnels. If I keep practicing these, I might get really good at this. There are, in most funnels, 3 to 4 stages. For our purposes in the warmth funnel, we're going to talk about funnel number 1, which is seen. Step number 2 is someone becomes interested. Step number 3, they're gonna build trust. You become trusted. And then 3, 4 at the bottom, someone down here is ready. They are ready to take action. They're ready to buy. So what is your job? Your job is to move people down the funnel from seen to interested to making sure that you're trusted to making sure that they're ready and then they buy at the bottom. That's marketing and advertising in a nutshell. And if you can conceptualize that and you think about the type of content that you're running to people here, 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 and here, instead of running ready content up here or here, you're going to convert better. So each of these stages has an intention, and your job is to execute content and advertising and retargeting that reaches people where they are, not where you want them to be. And you have to move them down the funnel. You have to show up and you have to stand out. The next, you need to build interest in you and what you do. Next, you need to build trust that you can solve that problem that that person has. And then when they're ready, you hit them with the right conversion asset. Okay. And we'll talk more about that in depth in other topics, other web classes, and maybe some more today. But again, we need conversion assets when it's time, and that is what gets someone to buy. Okay. So your job is to move them down the funnel and to do it without being annoying. How many of you have that Facebook friend or that Instagram follower friend who's always talking about their business and inviting you to like their business and posting about it on their personal thread, and you just kind of want to die inside when you see it? I personally hate that. No, Nancy, I don't want to follow your homemade sourdough cookie brand. I don't care. I will buy them. I don't want to see that in my feed. I don't have time for that. There's too much going on. But Nancy, you can be a bit annoying if you keep posting the same stuff. At the same time, maybe one day I'm feeling really hungry and I scroll through Facebook and I see how you use your sourdough cookies to feed orphans in Africa. And I think I feel like an orphan in Africa. I want to eat. Right. The point is, you hit people when they're hungry with the right ad, they're going to remember you and move forward. So don't just try to get people to buy your stuff all the time. That's the big thing to keep in mind here. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this and let's break it down. So, what is retargeting? So we've defined it a bit. It's about how you basically follow people around the web, right? So if someone comes to your website and they leave, how do you get them to come back? How do you stay top of mind in a relevant way so that they continue to stick around? That's the goal. That's what we're trying to do. And retargeting, very simply, you can think about it in a couple different ways, okay? And we described it. Let me just put this back. Retargeting is follow up. It's just that simple. You've got email, you've got text, and you have ads. And for our purposes, retargeting, we're talking about your ads. Okay. It's your follow up system for strangers who weren't ready yet. That doesn't mean someone who visits your websites and leaves is a lost opportunity. If you have the right system and infrastructure, you can stay top of mind, stay topically relevant, and show up when that person is ready. It's trying to make stickers of all my cool drawings. Okay, next, let's talk about the 3 audiences that matter. Okay, number 1, Look at my cool circles. I get better at these every day until I mess them up. Number one, visited. They visited your site. 2 is high intent. And 3 is a lead. So, site, high intent, conversion. If you divide your bucket up into your entire, everyone who ever visits your website into these 3 circles, most people think about these equally and they are not. And leads, I think generally we all think about, we know that they implicitly have more value. But visits to your website versus high intent, let's define that. Any page of your website is a visit. High intent would be a service page. So you're an attorney. They land on your site and they go to slip and fall. Okay, that's high intent. You know exactly what they're interested in by their behavior. And if you're doing Google Analytics 4 or you have, the Metapixel installed, this stuff's very easy to set up so that you can fire what are called events back to Google and back to Meta so that you can segment your audience. And that's what we're going to talk about in this section, the segmentation. Okay, so segmentation is vital in 2026. And if you want to win and not waste a lot of money in your remarketing and retargeting advertising, you have to segment your audience. So visits of any kind, lowest tier, high intent pages, service pages, pricing, the contact page, your booking page, that shows intention. They went there looking for what you do to vet you, or they were ready to book and then something distracted them or turned them off. So they left your site. And last is leads. So they filled out a form, they called you, or they sent you a text message. Out of these, they are not created equal, right? Now, it's really important to note that most businesses try to close everyone. Pros segment by intent and close when it matters. Okay. So for our purposes, pros are going to target high intent traffic and leads who have not converted yet into a customer. That doesn't mean there isn't a world where we're going to do all visitors and trap them. At Rook Digital, we do some really complex retargeting that works very well and efficiently for our audiences. We have an entire system for that. So I don't want to exclude this, but for our purposes, we're going to focus our attention where it matters, high intent and leads. And if you remarket to these people, you're basically segmenting the people down here at the bottom of the funnel. The people who are most likely to be ready based on their behavior means you don't have to guess anymore. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I can see the chat here, Kevin. I'm not wrong. There's no questions currently, right?
Not in the Zoom chat, but I have a couple.
Yeah,
One of them
sure.
you already kind of touched base on, but I'll just ask it again. Is there a point where retargeting stops working or gets annoying? How do you avoid that? And then the other question that came in, how do you think about messaging differently for someone who's already seen your business versus someone brand new?
Yeah, great. Okay, so reading that back. So one is how do we target cold audiences or people who are unfamiliar with us? And then 2, how do we prevent being annoying if for people who have engaged? So great question. We're going to look at the funnel again. I'll come all the way back up here to this funnel. Well, let's come to this one. We segment our audiences at Rook in really 2 spaces. You've got cold traffic, warm traffic, and then hot traffic down there at the bottom in red. So cold traffic up here, or top of funnel, or tofu, I've heard it called. That's these guys. They don't even know that that you exist. They are unaware, is the term we've used before. Okay, warm traffic here. These are people who are aware, right? And then down here, these are most aware. I'm writing a little thick here for my super zoomed in, so let me zoom that out a bit. Most aware are hot. And this is warm. And there's different stages to this, but your cold traffic, what we typically recommend to people here when you're targeting the unaware or cold, the goal here is you're basically trying to stand out. And number 2 is you're trying to make them problem aware. They need to recognize that they have a problem. Most people are going through Facebook or Instagram and they're searching for, Dwayne the Rock Johnson eating pancakes, or how weird does he look now dressed as Maui in his weird Maui live action trailer that came out the other day. My wife and my kids are having a big laugh about that, by the way. But the point is, they're just going through they're mind numbing, they're sedating, and you're interrupting that. So you have to make them aware of a problem. So the messaging you put top of funnel should be addressing the problem that exists, not closing your deals, not closing your services, not trying to convert a lead. Problem aware. Pattern interrupt, break through, let them know you got something going on. And then from there, it's just, you got to break through it. Okay. Number two is the question of hot 20 of how do you not be annoying. So what we do is we segment our audiences into kind of two groups. We have what we call the hot 28 and the hot 7. The hot 28 is anyone who's interacted with any of our content at any point in the last 28 days. And this comes from Black Box Digital Marketing, a guy named Kurt Malley. It's his whole process. Super, super awesome process. But we do it very well for our clients. And the hot 28 is just a net you capture around people who've engaged in the last 28 days in any meaningful way. The hot 7 are your most engaged. So again, that's these people. These people, that's your hot 7. And you want to target anyone who's done that in the last 7 days. And your ads for these people are going to be education, entertainment. Hot 7 is conversion, testimonial, and objection. Okay. You're just trying to get them to take action. If they don't take action in the next 7 days, you're basically going to put them back in the hot 28. If they don't take action within 28 days, anything meaningful, they just fall out. So they will self-exclude by you annoying them with helpful, free, valuable content. And if they don't engage with it, they're a waste of your advertising dollars, and we don't want to waste any more money on them. So we let them fall off. And if they ever come back and they do any meaningful action, right? Visit our Facebook page, visit a page on our website, etc., we're going to throw them in the hot 28. But the hot 7's where the money is made, and that's really what we're talking about today. So good questions, a little more detailed than I was hoping to go, but very, very helpful question. Anything else?
Nothing right now.
Okay, well, let's keep it moving. So again, we're going to target and we're going to focus on them. So pros segment, and then they close when it matters. So segmentation, putting your buckets up, and then closing when it matters, right? Really hitting them with the right ad at the right time. That's how you're going to make the most out of your retargeting. So let's talk about our retargeting messages, okay? When you're at the bottom of the funnel, again, we're going to think about it as, all right, so we got our messaging. Let me zoom out a bit. And you've got kind of 3 cards that we can think about. You'd think with this grid on this background, I'd be much better at drawing my rectangles. You'd think I could just easily match those up, but apparently I don't color in the lines, so shame on me. So number 1, you've got proof. These are your playing cards. You're going to use proof, you're going to use clarity, and then you're going to use an offer. Those are your playing cards for your ads. So proof is trust. Clarity is what you do. And then your offer is a reason to act. So one of the offers we have right now at Rook, just to try to get some more leads in our company, anybody who signs up for a free no BS audit, if we can't give you 3 actionable items on that 1-hour audit, we will give you $500 cash. I am confident we can give you those. I'm happy to make that offer. Right? And if you're interested in improving me, go sign up for a free audit on Rook Digital. That is a great type of offer for us to give hot 7, bottom of funnel, high interest or leads to try to get them to take the next step in the funnel. What's the next action item for them? Okay. So keep this in mind. If you keep showing the same ad, you're not retargeting, you're repeating. Same ad equals repeating. So you should have multiple different ads running. And if you need help figuring out what that strategy is for your business, sign up for that audit. We can go talk specifically about that for you. I promise it'll be super helpful. Okay, so next, let's talk about the proof stack. One of the most infuriating games I've ever played in my life is this little game called Jenga. You guys ever heard of that game? Back in my 20s and 30s, it was really cool for a lot of the bars and gastropubs and things to have giant Jenga made out of 2x4s. And that was even more infuriating. But either way, let's talk about it. This is your proof stack. This is your competitor's proof stack. If your competitor has more, again, we'll just kind of draw these out. I guess I could just draw columns because they're all the same. Okay. If your competitor has more pieces than you do, they're going to be more successful, right? If we start looking at like which pieces can balance this thing and they just have more proof than you, they're going to win. That's just how that works, right? So, what are our proof pieces? What elements can we use? We're going to use reviews. These are for your ads today, right? We're talking about retargeting. Before and after photos. If you've attended any of our past web classes, you're starting to see a pattern here of what we talk about. That's how vital and important these are. We're just using them in a different way today. It's not about your GBP, your Google business profile. It's not about your website. This is about your ads. You should be using these in your ads. You should include information about your licenses and your badges, any trust factors, any awards you've won, anything that makes you stand out. Why are you better than everyone else? What about your warranty or your guarantee? Now, I'm a big fan of Tommy Boy, and we can have conversations about guarantees and warranties, but they do work. People like them. It de-risks things for people. You should highlight your team or your trucks. Make your branding aware so people know, and then talk about your response time. Be responsive, respond quickly to people. All of those things help, okay? So retargeting works best when it's proof heavy. We want proof, proof, proof. Okay, proof heavy. That's the goal here. All right. Any questions, Kevin?
Yeah. For people that may have a smaller budget, is there a platform that they should focus on more than the others?
Yeah, I think it depends. Again, going back to we have kind of really those three areas of stages of awareness, right? So you got, oh, excuse me. So you got warm, you got cold. That's not switching. Cold, you've got hot, right? And so where you reach people, where people are, is dependent on your marketing channel. So we are big fans of SEO and Google PPC because those people are the highest intent. Those are people who are looking for a solution to a problem, a provider, or they're looking for price shopping. They're ready to buy, right? You just have to convince them to do it. And so SEO and PPC, I think, are great places to put revenue. The problem is the cost is pretty high because there's so much intent. This is the best traffic you can buy. If you can rank there in SEO, that's like a permanent listing where you're going to get organic traffic with the highest intent possible. It is by and large the most important thing you can do for your marketing. Google PPC, it's the exact same traffic. And last time I looked at this, it was about 30% of all traffic is going to click on the ads anyway. So you should do both if you can. But if you have a smaller budget, you might want to lean into the social media side because you can leverage things like different ad types. So you could be focused on engagement. You could be focusing on, so we're going to call it meta ads or social ads just for this. So you could do video views, you could do follows, you could target brand views, you could do clicks, you could then get deeper in the funnel to like clicks, landing page views, leads, you could do meta lead forms. There's a bunch of stuff you can do, and it's the full funnel. It's reaching new people, it's retargeting to people. My opinion is probably if I had $1,000 and I wanted to focus on regrowing an audience long term, it would probably be meta. If I'm focused on converting today, it's PPC. It's Google Ads. It's Google Ads. It's Bing Ads, Microsoft Ads. It's anything that I can do there. And my recommendation is always SEO because it's permanent and long term. If you start today, you're ahead. If you start tomorrow, you're 1 day behind. So good question. I think it's dependent. Your market might dictate that. That's all stuff we can talk about on our no BS audit if someone's interested. But good question. Anything else?
Nothing right now.
Okay. All right. So going back to this, we want to be as proof heavy as possible with our ads. So let's keep that in mind. Now, again, if you've attended any of our web classes, you're aware one of our most hated things here is friction. So we're going to talk about friction, the friction killer. Okay. What is the friction killer? And for most people, we're going to try really hard to match these pages. And I didn't even get close. That was so bad. But if this is a website, and this is your website, and this is your competitor's website, one of the most important things, or one of the most common things we see, is that if all things were the same, people focus on design and they don't focus enough on conversion factors. So what we want to see is we want to see very clear CTA buttons, very clear recommendations on what you want people to do next, right? We want call links. Very clear. What most people see is bland text. They don't want it to be busy. Busy is like one of those buzzwords in our industry that is immediately like, okay, you may not know what you're doing. Aesthetically, people like clean, simple websites, but in reality, in the direct marketing world, people want questions, answers. They want to be guided down a path. And so very often we'll just see a couple of links on a site, nothing very clear, or their buttons are blending in because they want it to look sleek and aesthetic. And here, which one of these is more clear which thing you should do first? So to make it very clear here, that if you retarget and still make it hard to call, you're still going to lose. You have to make it easy. So you got to kill the friction. And the easiest way to do that is very clear CTAs, call to action buttons, telling them very explicitly what you want them to do. And the other is click to call. Most traffic is mobile now, so people can tap a button and call. They don't have to write down your phone number or type it into their phone. So if you can just make it easy to click to call, you're going to increase conversions much more. Okay, any questions, Kevin?
Yeah, JD in the Zoom chat, after your company does the audit, then will you give recommendations with a price list?
Yeah, so it's not like a hard sale in any way. Like, I mean, very transparently, we are a business who sells digital marketing services. And so we absolutely would love to match with people and sell our services to you. But our process is different in the sense that we're not a high pressure sales process. We truly try to serve first through an education first perspective. So that audit is about teaching you what's wrong with your website. We crawl that website with an industry tool called Screaming Frog. We pay for it. We dig through every single page of your website, and then we spit out a big Excel sheet, and then we highlight all of the problems in red, all the warnings in yellow, and then we go through that in detail. We then use another tool called SEMrush, which is it was recently bought by Adobe for billions with a B of dollars. A very well respected third party tool that crawls the web like Google. It gives us things like domain authority scores. It also tells us things like what keywords you're ranking for, and we can very quickly diagnose problems through those two things. So the audit's looking through the lens of those. Sometimes we'll look at your Google business profile. Sometimes you're more interested in your ad strategy. So we might open your Google ad account, look through that. So the audit's really tailored, but largely it's that. And at the end, most people ask us for pricing. We've prepped pricing for your market. We've got a pretty clear idea. For most people, we're in your market already if you're seeing our ads. So we know what it takes. And then we'll kind of give you kind of good, better, best options and then let you pick. And if we're not a good fit and you decide it's not helpful, that's okay. You got a bunch of value. We record that for you and we send it to you so you can keep it and you get the Excel sheet too. And if at some point in the future we're a good fit, great. And if not, that's fine too. Like it's all good. What we find is most people who aren't a good fit, which isn't a lot of them, they tend to refer people to us. And so our business for 10 years has been referral based. This is the first time we're ever doing real marketing for ourselves purely because we haven't needed to. And we're doing it now just because we want to expand and grow and serve more people. And so we're leveraging our own process for ourselves for the first time in our almost 11, well, 12-year history this year. So, but yeah, it's not a high pressure sales pitch at all. We give you all the details, and we will have pricing available for you if you want to move forward with a game plan, but you get to pick. So,
Okay, that's great, Phil and Kevin.
yeah.
Thank you. Because I'd like to get on a call maybe later today or tomorrow, depending on your schedule, because I want to refer people to you, but I want to find out how that works.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with that, Kevin or Megan will drop you like my email through a
Okay.
private message, and then you can just reach out to me. I've got a couple of things today, but I'll do my best to make myself available for you.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah, good to see you again. Thanks for being back.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Next up, anything else, Kevin, before I move on?
Yeah, one more question. Is boosting a post considered retargeting?
Yeah, no, it's not. And for most people, what the boost mechanism is for that question, for everybody else, is let's say this is your cool post and this is your description, and then you'll see a button on like Instagram or Facebook, and this will say boost. And for $10, you can reach, 350x the amount of people you normally reach, or something like that. That mechanism, in my opinion, is a waste of your money. Now, I do know one case. It's in a multi-level marketing thing, selling essential oils, and they boost their posts in the India market in India, and they're blowing up like crazy, and they're just weeding through a bunch of nonsense leads. That's the only place where I've seen this actually serve somebody in a really meaningful way. What we do, and going back to our ad strategy up here of like the hot 28 and that method, is very often in that warm content, right? So I'll put it in yellow. For warm content, we will take all of your videos and your posts and your graphics, and we will repurpose those as ads. So we take the native post and we run it as an ad, which is different than hitting boost. It's a different mechanism. It's actually much cheaper for you to do it that way. It's also harder to do because you have to go into, ads manager, create your campaign, set up your ad set, attach the right audience, create it. But it's also easier in some ways because you're going to boost something you have organically. All of the likes, comments, shares, everything that show up on that ad, they show up organically on the post as well, instead of a churn and burn, what we might call a dark post or a dark ad, which is never seen on your Facebook page, but actually exists in the ecosystem of Facebook. That's what a lot of these kind of hot 7 ads are dark posts or dark ads. They're served for ad purpose only, not something that's going to be tracked on the page. So again, boosting, it can serve really well, not something I recommend for most people. And by most people, again, I've really seen one person ever see success from doing it. That's not a vanity metric. So let's define a vanity metric. A vanity metric is something that makes you feel good, but does nothing for the bottom line. I got likes, I got comments, I'm assuming I got likes, I saw views, but it does nothing. No leads, no traffic to your page, no opt-ins, no messages, nothing that really serves you. And in our world, some vanity metrics now might be followers and likes, because 3% of your followers will see your ad. 3%. So if you have 1,000 followers, that's 30 people are going to see any post, your post, your organic post. 30 people are going to see your post. So I'll repeat that. In 2026, and really for a long time now, the 3% rule says that 3% of your followers will see any organic post. And so you have to run ads to reach your followers. And that's part of the retargeting and remarketing world. It's that devastating in reality. So vanity metrics are not helpful. Boosts are kind of a vanity. They help with vanity metrics, not necessarily bottom of funnel metrics. Just like we care about. There, can you hear me? There you go, Kevin. I see you moving.
Yeah, I think you might have froze for a second, but I hear you now.
Okay, yeah. So I just got a notice saying my connection's unstable. It's pretty windy here, so hopefully that doesn't affect things. But I will be wrapping up shortly. We don't have much left to cover. Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay, so let's just build out the 7-day plan. Let's make this actionable for you. What is our plan here? So number one, days 1 through 2, what are you going to do? You're gonna build and launch proof ads. Okay, that's reviews and before and after. If you're already doing remarketing, you'll know how to do this. If you don't know how to do this, let us know. We can walk you through how to do that. Okay, it's a little complex, to do it right, but anything's better than nothing, right? And we operate in a good, better, best world. So next, days 3 to 4, you're going to start building clarity ads. Okay, what is that? It's going to be your service area. I'm going to delete a couple of my parentheticals because they're making it harder. Service areas. Like what area do you serve? It's going to be the services that you offer. So I'll do service plus area. And then we'll do what happens next. What's the next step? So I think that question was a good question. What happens on an audit? What does it look like? What's the experience? What should I expect? Okay. Days 5 through 6, you want to build your offer ads. Okay. So again, you want to talk about, hey, get a fast estimate, same day service, or guarantee. Whoa, my iPad decided to hijack everything. Okay, and then day 7, right, we're going to do a reminder ad. Okay, that's going to be a call or a book now. So your game plan is to build these, and then you can set this to run through segmentation to say, I want to see anybody who took this action 2 days ago. I want to do them to see these ads or these ads. Or you can set up sequential ads if you really know what you're doing in Meta. You can set up sequential ads that basically show them in a specific order. So keep in mind, you don't need 20 ads. We do a lot of ads. We do it very professionally. Most of our clients have larger budgets, or they have budgets in the thousands of dollars. You may not have that. Whatever you're doing, it may be too unmanageable for yourself at this point. You don't need 20 ads. You need 3 messages rotated. You can't just have one. Okay. So you don't want to be stale. You want to be active. Okay. That's what we're trying to do. And then we're going to build a simple scoreboard for success because we got to track everything. At Rook, we have a saying, data dictates. I don't know, test it. What does the data say? We can be wrong in our own assumptions out of pure ego. And so by assuming we don't know and then doing our best to act, we're going to be more successful. So the scoreboard, very simply, we're going to do 4 columns, and then we're going to judge them off of very simple success rates. So one is going to be your audience. You're going to do clicks back to your site, calls or leads, and then we're going to do booked jobs or clients or purchases, whatever you do. So don't get too caught up on that. So whatever you're trying to accomplish, we're just doing a scoreboard, and you're going to have ad A and ad B, and you're just going to score it. And at the end of the day, the only one that matters is going to be book jobs. That's the thing we care the most about. That's your best signal that your ad is working. So retargeting only works if it produces calls and booked jobs. Okay. Somebody takes that next step in the action. So let's go all the way back up here from the start of our entire process here. Got a lot. And again, we send these recordings out to you after this, and we also send the whiteboards to you, and we have worksheets that we send out to you so you can implement these. And I would encourage you, if you're here or you're watching the replay, go execute. Take the workbook, apply it. Anything you do today is better than nothing. Okay. So just keep that in mind. And if you're trying to plug that leaky bucket, right, so that your leads flow down and you can get more booked deals, at the end of the day, that's why we have the no BS audit. We already talked about what that is, but the audit is just very simple. We'll give you very specific fixes, insights, and next steps that you can execute today. It is not a pushy sales call, right? It's not something we're going to shove down your throat. It's a consultation. It's something we get paid a lot of money to do from our larger consulting clients on the enterprise side or the kind of medium to large business size. We do it free for everybody with one purpose. That's to empower you to know when you're talking to a charlatan. The charlatans exist. Most people in the digital marketing space are making it up. We have a joke here. We're not the kid in the hoodie, even though I'm in a hoodie right now. But there are kids in hoodies who went to college, learned from somebody who hasn't been doing it for a long time, have no real world experience, and have never run a business. And they're focused on vanity metrics or trying the latest trick, tip, hack. We don't do that. This will be my 17th year doing digital marketing. That's older than I want to admit, but we do it very well and we do it ethically. And our goal is to ensure that you know what you need to do so that you can succeed. And if we do that and you walk away and you're not a client, we have won. We can move on knowing we did good in our world and reestablish our industry as a good industry that does good for businesses. We'd love to do that for you. So please sign up for an audit. There should be a link in the chat. And Kevin, I think, is going to drop a link to the workbook for you. And again, we do have a guarantee right now. If you sign up for an audit and we can't give you 3 fixes that increase your traffic or fix your Google business profile or do something positive for your business, we'll give you $500 cash. Okay. So there's more details on our website at rookdigital.com/audit. That being said, thank you for being here. Any questions, Kevin?
No, I think we covered all the ones that have come in.
Okay. Well, we'll open it up to questions. Tom, I think you joined late. Anybody else here? If you got a question, we give you 10 seconds, 30 seconds to think of something. If not, we'll let you get back to your day. I think we all appreciate when a meeting ends early.
Thanks, guys. Just want to look over the material when I get a chance. Sorry I was late.
Oh, no, you're good. We'll send the replay out shortly as well for you, so you can catch up from the beginning and you can keep that. Okay. Anything else?
Nothing I see.
We got some claps. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Megan, I'll turn it over to you.
All right. Great class today. Thank you all for joining us. If you want help identifying exactly where you are losing people on your website and what to do about it, that's exactly what the audit's for. And if this was helpful, we put out content like this every week, so be sure to share with a friend so we can help you and them get more calls and better jobs. We appreciate you guys being here. Go implement this with the workbook and email us and let us know how it worked